everyone, very good morning. Today our topic is primary market and secondary market. No doubt it is a very broad topic as well as very important topic. You can expect different types of questions in your BA degree program or competitive examinations like PSC or KAS examinations and also civil service examinations. So the topic is highly relevant, and from the newspaper you can see lots of news related to primary market and secondary market and so on. Secondary market, that is represented by BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. That means stock exchange is actually a typical example for secondary market. Okay. So my strategy here is to give an outline of this topic first. Then you can easily understand the meaning, definition, and also the major differences between primary market and secondary market. Okay. Let me explain an outline of this topic. For example, see, primary market and secondary market that actually come under financial market. Before that, capital market. That is the first point. Please note that point. Capital market. Primary market and secondary market are the two segments of capital market. Right. What about the capital market? And this capital market is a part of financial market. Okay, where you can see both money market and the capital market. So, capital market, that is actually a part and parcel of financial market. Okay. Financial market. In the financial market, you can see both money market as well as capital market. Then what about financial market? That is also another important question. Financial market, it is only a component or one of the components of financial system. Right. Financial system. Right. That means financial system, there are four components. I would like to say first one, financial institutions, and second one, financial market, and third one, financial instruments, and fourth one, financial services. Okay. This is about the outline of this topic. Now my recommendation is that you first understand all these areas, then only you can easily digest this topic. Okay. Believe me, I am telling only the fact, then you can easily follow my class. And in this area, I have already uploaded many videos to my YouTube channel, Noushad Chengodan. You can just click my channel and watch all these videos and you can follow what I am going to say. Right. Then I will give you the video links into my comment segment. Okay. Now, related to primary market and secondary market. See, here you can take the term primary. What about primary? See, primary market that actually represents fresh securities. Okay, don't worry. Fresh securities. That is, primary. The first point is that primary market is a part of capital market. And this capital market, that means, is a market for long-term lending and borrowing. Okay, simple. Then what about money market? This one, money market, another segment of financial market. It is the market for short-term lending and borrowing. Simple. ഒരു വർഷത്തിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ വായ്പ എടുത്തിട്ട് തിരിച്ചു കൊടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് കം അണ്ടർ മണി മാർക്കറ്റ്. വായ്പ എടുത്തത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് റീപേ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് യു ഹാവ് excess of 1 year, then it is come under capital market. That is open. Previous video മറക്കാതെ കാണാം. Right. Now primary means it is fresh shares that happened in the primary market. I would like to use the term in the primary market. It is actually securities or primary market actually creating securities. Securities are created in the primary market. Simple point. Securities means please understand another concept. Securities that include both shares and debentures or bond. Okay, if you know the concept, then this topic is really very, very interesting. Securities that include shares, stakes or stock, ownership securities. Simple. Ownership securities. The debentures or bond, creditorship securities. കാരണം എന്താ, ഡിബഞ്ചർ ഹോൾഡർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കമ്പനിക്ക് വായ്പ കൊടുത്ത ആളാണ്, ക്രെഡിറ്ററാണ്. കമ്പനി എന്താണ്, ഡെറ്ററാണ്. ഓക്കെ. ഷെയർസിൻ്റെ കേസിൽ എന്താണ്, suppose I would like to purchase a share of Jio company. Now I will become one of the owners of that company. In return, I will get a part of profit is known as dividend, and debenture holder, he will get the return as interest rate. It is, fixed and sure, and shares, the return should be based on the performance of the company. Okay, all these things actually very clearly discussed in our previous videos. Now, my point is that in the primary market, securities are created. Then how can you explain that point? We can take an example, simple point here, how the securities are created. Okay, listen very carefully. Suppose, we can take a company, Jio, okay, managed by Reliance Group, Mukesh Ambani, like that, yeah. And Jio, here, the owner is X and Y. Okay, X and Y are the owners. And X and Y, they are popularly known as promoters of the company or owners of the company, right? Now, the company started in the year of 2010, suppose 2010, simple. Okay, now X and Y are the promoters of the company. See, in 2015, Jio company has decided to mobilize fund by issuing shares for the first time. കമ്പനിയുടെ ലൈഫിൽ ആദ്യമായിട്ടൊരു തീരുമാനം എടുക്കുകയാണ്, എന്ത്, mobilize fund by issuing shares in 2005. That is, Jio will be listed in the stock exchanges, or it will become a listed company. And this 2015 2015 ആയപ്പോഴേക്കും ജിയോ കമ്പനി എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, ഓഹരി വിറ്റിട്ട്, കാരണം പ്രൊമോട്ടേഴ്സിൻ്റെ 100% ഓഹരി പ്രൊമോട്ടേഴ്സിൻ്റെ അടുത്തായിരുന്നു, അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു 10% അവരെന്താണ്, പബ്ലിക്കിന് വിൽക്കുകയാണ്. എനിബഡി ഫ്രം ദ പബ്ലിക് ക്യാൻ സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ഇറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, then that process happened in the primary market. Okay, this process is happened in the primary market, not in the secondary market. Why? Jio actually issues new shares, right, for the first time. See the key term, keyword, for the first time. That means, the new shares are issued in the market for the first time. It is, known as IPO, initial public offering. Simple point, IPO, right? And that is why, primary market is also known as new issue market, double underline. New issue market. Why? All the shares or debt instruments that issued in the primary market are fresh, are new. Okay, then again, after 2 years, that is in 2017, Jio the board of directors actually decided to mobilize fund more from the market by issuing shares or debentures again. Then again, in 2017, the shares are issued by the company itself. It is fresh, no doubt. It is new, but it is not for the first time in their life. So this type of new securities after or subsequent to the IPO, which is known as FPO, that is follow on public offer. What is the term? Follow on public offer. Then another suggestion is that IPO and FPO that come under primary market, that we have uploaded a video to my YouTube channel. Please watch it. Okay, please follow my suggestion. Right. Then another thing is that, okay, this is about, primary market. Here, the company actually issuing shares or debentures. In the case of government, government issue ചെയ്യുന്ന കടപ്പത്രത്തിന് വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണെന്ത്? ബോണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, മണി മാർക്കറ്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ അത് ട്രഷറി ബിൽ. ഓക്കെ, ക്യാപിറ്റൽ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ സെക്യൂരിറ്റീസ് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത് പ്രൈവറ്റ് കമ്പനി ആണെങ്കിൽ ഷെയർസ്, ഓർ ഡെറ്റ് ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെൻ്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ what it is known as debenture. In the money market, it is known as commercial paper. Okay, money market എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കണം, ജിയോയുടെ working capital to purchase raw materials or to pay wages to laborers and so on, working capital, day-to-day expenses that can be met through money market. Okay, what are the major differences between money market and capital market? You must watch that previous video. Then what about their fixed capital requirements? Fixed capital, right? Like, sophisticated machinery, technology and so on. Then Jio company will raise fund from capital market. Okay, please understand. Now my point is that under the, I would like to note, A, B, C and D. They actually represented, public. They have a surplus fund. They are ready to purchase shares or debentures that issued by the Jio company that happened in the primary market. A, B, C and D. These persons are known as investors. Why? They are going to invest in the shares and debentures of the Jio company. And here, the company Jio is called as issuing company. Okay, issuing company. Why? Jio actually issuing shares and debentures. That is my point is that here, primary market. See, primary market that actually create a link between issuing company and investors. Please note that point. Okay, there is a link between issuing company and investors. And investors can only purchase shares. No option to sell. Okay, these are the major points. So the primary market is the market for fresh shares or securities that happened. IPO and FPO is there. Okay, then what about secondary market? Secondary market. Okay, then secondary market is also known as aftermarket. Aftermarket. Okay, it is, a market for old shares or securities or debentures. That is what transacted in the primary market, that will be, or again buy and sell that happened in the secondary market. That is simply, secondary market is the market where, securities are traded, isn't it? This is the key word. In the secondary market, securities are traded. Traded means to purchase and sell. Okay, അപ്പോൾ പ്രൈമറി മാർക്കറ്റിൽ കഴിഞ്ഞ സംഭവം അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ഇപ്പോൾ സപ്പോസ് A, B, C and D, they can enter into the secondary market. Secondary market, that represented by stock exchanges, BSC, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange and so on. And here, trade happened among investors. Okay, A can purchase from B, B can purchase from A, C can sell their shares to D, and D can purchase from C. That means role of company is nil here. It is 0. There is no link between company Geo and the investors in the secondary market. Secondary market, it is a continuous market where the investors can sell and purchase. Okay, that is why secondary market is known as after market, that come after primary market. But both are highly interrelated. So I would like to ask a simple question. Based on these concepts, can you define primary market and secondary market? Okay.
Primary market is a market for new issues or new financial claims. Primary market is also called as new issue market. Primary market deals with those securities which are issued to the public for the first time. Secondary market is a market for secondary sale of securities. In other words, securities which have already passed through the new issue market are traded in this market. It provides a continuous and regular market for buying and selling of securities.
To be frank, your definitions are excellent. I think you got all the points that I have discussed. I am very happy. Okay. Now, let me explain the major differences between primary market and secondary market. Okay. See, here I would like to list out 7 major points. Right? See, before that, we are discussing primary market and secondary market. You can see both, that is equity market. This is also very important term, as well as debt market. Okay, don't worry. The topic also we have covered under types of capital market and so on. Equity market, here, market, is the place where buying and selling takes place. And equity market, shares are traded. Debt market, here, bond, that is issued by government, and debentures issued by private companies. That actually traded in the debt market. Please note that point as well. Okay. In the money market, it is termed as treasury bill market, commercial bill market, and so on. But in the capital market, we are actually saying equity market and debt market. Debt market is also known as bond market and so on. Okay. Now, in the case of primary market, it actually deals with new securities. That is why it is known as new issue market. I don't want to explain more. Please understand it. But in the secondary market, it is the market for old securities, or it deals with existing securities. That is why that market is known as aftermarket. Please understand, secondary market, you can simply say BSE, NSE, over the counter stock exchange of India. And abroad you can see New York Stock Exchange. New York Stock Exchange. Right. Tokyo Stock Exchange. Right. Second point, under the primary market, securities are sold only once. Issuing company actually selling it and investors can purchase it. Okay. That happened only once. But secondary market, it is the market for regular and continuous market. Anytime, within moments and minutes, buying and selling takes place. It is a continuous market. Here, under the primary market, there is a direct link between company and investors. But in the secondary market, there is no physical existence or a role of company in the secondary market, but all the transactions buying and selling that happened among investors or between investors. Okay. Here, in the primary market, investors can purchase. They can purchase only from the issuing company. No option to sell it. Okay. That about fourth one. And here, investors, have both options to sell and to buy shares or securities. That is, they can sell as well as buy. Okay. Then here, under the primary market, the company can mobilize the fund. That is, the capital or the fund goes to companies. The companies can expand their operations or start another subsidiaries and like that. But there is no direct link between company and investors. Okay. That transaction that happened among investors only. Then what about physical existence? In the primary market, there is no physical existence as in the case of Bombay Stock Exchange and like that. It is actually happened, through many processes, issuing of prospectus and stockbrokers and merchant bankers, underwriters and so on. Okay, we will discuss later. But here, secondary market, we can see a concrete physical existence like, BSc and NSC. Then we can simply say that is primary market actually provides long-term instruments for borrowing, right? But here, secondary market, they're actually providing continuous market, that is liquidity anytime. Liquidity means, suppose I have shares or debentures in my hand, suppose I need fund, then at that moment I can sell it if there is buyer. Okay, so I will get liquidity. എനിക്ക് പണത്തിന് ആവശ്യം വരുമ്പോൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് എൻ്റെ ഓഹരി വിറ്റിട്ട് എന്താ BSc-ലൊക്കെ വിറ്റിട്ട് എനിക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് ഫണ്ട് മൊബിലൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. Okay, this is about the major differences between primary market and secondary market. And let me list out in a sentence way about the differences between primary market and secondary market. Then I will give this topic as assignment for you. How can you frame a beautiful table that represents the major differences between primary market and secondary market? Okay.
Primary market deals with new securities. Secondary market deals with existing securities. In primary market, securities are sold only once, but in secondary market, it provides regular and continuous market. Primary market links the issuing company and investors. But in secondary market, transactions are made between the investors. Investors can only purchase securities under primary market. But in secondary market, investors can purchase and sell securities. Primary market provides capital to the companies. But in secondary market, issuing company doesn't have any direct role. Primary market doesn't have any physical existence. But in secondary market, it have physical existence. In primary market, it creates long-term instruments for borrowing. But in secondary market, it provides liquidity through marketability of those instruments. So what about the next topic?
Before telling about the coming topic, the next topic, I would like to check your knowledge. I would like to check your understanding. Are you ready? Okay, then as a part of Q&A session, I will set 2 questions. First one, can you state the returns that received by shareholder and debenture holder? That means, what is the returns to shareholder or what is the returns to debenture holder or bond holder? Okay, then the second question is that, can you name the regulator of capital market of India? Who is the regulator of capital market of India? Okay, now we can wind up the topic, and before that, then I also designed 10 important multiple choice questions related to primary market and secondary market and capital market and uploaded to my website noushad.chengodan.in. You can just visit my website and download the question paper or mock test. You can just click the mock test and test your knowledge. You can read the question and take the right answer and submitting the mock test pattern, then you will get your mark and also answer key and explanations. Then you can easily understand what is the right statement and what is the wrong statement and so on. Okay, our next topic, that is related to stock exchanges. Very important topic, and I would like to handle the areas like BSc, Bombay Stock Exchange, NSC, National Stock Exchange, and also OTCEI, over the counter stock exchange bonds. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice day.